Okay. I think I am live now. Let's just wait for the YouTube to catch up. The YouTube. Wait for the YouTube to catch up. Okay. Okay. So, impromptu live video editing Saturday night, late night Saturday. I should have put that in the thumbnail, but again, it was impromptu, so I just started. I am doing this because I have to edit this video anyway, and I thought, well, might as well do it live uh, on a late night Saturday night. So I got nothing else going on except for doing this, and then maybe other people who are into video editing in Blender might want to just come hang out. So I'm just going to start. I'm just going to do some editing of the videos. I have to find my videos now, though. My folder that I've been working on. 5.1 updates. So I did a live stream for 5.1 update. That's the last live stream that I did, but it was just me discovering it and testing things out. So this time I actually prepped everything, and hopefully the video isn't going to be terribly long, but I am going to edit. Okay, let's see. What do I need? What am I looking for? I'm looking for that's right. Going updates. Blender, OBS. Okay. Now I got to figure out which one. Okay, the timeline. I'm guessing 300. The 300 megabytes one is going to be the first one here. Oh, and I do not want the thumbnails on. I don't care about retiming. I use speed control for that anyway. Let's see. And then the modifiers, I believe it's this one. Okay. I believe it's this one. Okay. And you can see the total recording time is like, over an hour, which is typical for me. But I think I'm hoping I can get it down, because especially this one. But who knows? I always think that I'm doing better than I am, or shorter than I am. It's always longer. Anyway, speaking of long and rambling on, I don't like prefetch here. Not for this part anyway. I always have set my proxy settings to per project. Also, in my video editing, I have my own hotkeys, and I've done a couple of tutorials on creating your own hotkeys. So that's why you won't see my screencast keys, because they're going to be different from the Blender defaults. Also, if let's see, where is this? Is it interface? Where is it? System, video sequencer. Okay, so my proxy setup is manual. And if you have it on automatic, which it's on automatic by default, then it will start automatically creating proxies for you. I don't like that, because I like to have the directory. I have my own directory that I use for this specifically. It's called Blender Proxies, and so I have that for all of them. And then what you can do is just select, and I don't like this. This shouldn't have been connected. I don't like these connected. So I can select just the videos. Okay, so then I will click selected strip proxies, or set selected strip proxies, 25%. I'm not going to choose overwrite. I don't like setting overwrite unless I want to overwrite it, but I don't want to accidentally overwrite it. So I'm just going to set, and that it just basically makes both of these here have the strip proxies on them. Then I'm going to select them and then click rebuild proxy and timecode indices. Now, I'm using 5.1, so this is going to be building the proxies of all of them. This is something that's new in 5.1. In previous versions, you would have the proxies being built one by one. So this status bar would be one strip, the status bar of one strip. So if you had multiple strips like this, then you would see another progress bar going on and doing the same thing. This is combining all of them. So every video you have selected, once you click rebuild proxy and timecode indices, the status bar is going to build the proxies for all of them at the same time. So this is all together. So I have about 2.5 minutes altogether. It's about 25% for both of these together. So while that is doing that, we can just shoot the breeze, I guess. I mean, no one here yet, but maybe you're watching this later. I thought about doing 5.2 and just kind of starting to test that out, because 5.2 is in beta. So actually, let's go here. I'm gonna bring up Blender's video sequencer, Blender release notes. So if you just go to Blender or developer.blender.org and then click on Docs and then click on Release Notes down here, then you have you can check the currently active releases, including the long-term support, and then you can go to any of the previous versions. But here's 5.1, and 5.2 is still in alpha, and so I'm not gonna do that one. But you can kind of take a look at it and just kind of glance at some of the changes that are coming along in 5.2, which is going to be a lot. We've got the compositor in the VSC, a new compositor effect. Now, this is kind of like the effect strip itself, like a speed control or another effect strip. That's a separate layer, and you can see this here if I just full screen. Yeah, so tiled fade. This is the actual effect strip. So you're actually not putting the effect on the strip. You actually have a separate effect strip that strip is using the compositor node. So that's pretty cool. Some of the other ones that are really cool. Oh yeah, now we have style presets for the text, which is pretty cool. Like your subtitles or your main titles or your lower thirds. That is coming along in Blender 5.2. So I'm actually going to do a live stream testing all of this stuff in the next week or two, I hope. Not promising anything, but I hope. And I will try to schedule it out a little bit further, like so people can say, oh, hey, he's live streaming on this day, and I can plan for it. So far, my live streams have just been like impromptu and like, hey, guess what? I'm live streaming now, which is why I don't think a lot of people join. So, okay, the proxies are finished being built. Oh, let's see. Let's go here, and we're using proxies. I'm going to go 25%, and there we go. You can see this. It's like butter. Just so if I'm not using the proxies, or if I'm at 100% and not using the proxies, you can see as I try to scrub through, it's very laggy. But with those proxies, it's so smooth. Another thing that I'm going to do is playback and then scrubbing. And then you can hear that. Actually, I don't know if you can. Let me turn on my desktop audio. Yeah, it's muted right now. And we're going to bring that down. Okay, so you can, hopefully you can hear a little bit of that. You don't, it's not necessary to hear it, but okay. Let's see, what else do I need? I think that's it. Let's just save this and do another iteration. Saving in iterations here. And I'm just going to get started. I'll try to comment on like what I'm gonna do or what I am doing as I go, but I'm probably not gonna comment on everything. This is just if you want to see how I edit video live. This is it. So I haven't edited video in a long time, so it might even be a little bit difficult for me.
Okay, first up is the blade tool. Now,
okay, so this is after the intro. I haven't edited the intro. I created my intro and outro separately, and I do that at the end normally. So let's get rid of that. And all right, and we have Blender crashing already. Well, at least I saved it. Save often. Blender 5.1 crashes on me quite a bit. So far, it seems to be like when I'm trying to snap. Okay, that's good there. Okay, well, let's go back here. Let's see there, and let's see. Trying to snap, and I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's because for some reason it doesn't like the fact that this isn't active. So these two aren't. None of these are active. This is my active strip. An active strip is what shows up over here in the preferences and stuff. I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna save it right before. Let's go here and let's go to the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna save it right before, and I'm gonna try to snap it again. Okay. Well, maybe it's because of that, because of this new snapping feature. I didn't even think that was selected. Okay, hold on. I think that is what's happening. Because see, it's snapping. Okay. I think this is a bug. It's snapping because the new snapping is actually really cool. But it takes into consideration, it snaps according to the active strip. But now that I'm noticing this is that the active strip might not actually be selected, as the case in here. So, but now if I just snap it, then it's going to snap. And I can do either keep offset or right or left snap. But if all of these were selected and they were over here and I press snap, and I'm using my own hotkeys, so that's why you don't see my screencast keys. So, but I snapped them, and I can either keep offset or not keep offset. This is the default way they usually snap. But if I click keep offset, now it keeps that offset, which I've wanted for a long time, but in 5.1 now that's when that was introduced. So okay, so let's try that again and just make sure that one is active. And I think that's probably why it crashed. It had a problem with that. So
okay, first up is the.
Oops. Yeah, I really got to get used to this again. Okay. And saving often. All right, so here we go.
Okay, first up is the blade tool. Now, in previous versions, if you just use the blade tool to click, it would add little cuts. I don't know if there's another cut now to do, but it's like this shortcut. It would add little.
So I'm just gonna start cutting out things that I don't like, or that cutting out things like spaces and ums, and I don't always cut out all of my ums, but
blade tool to click, it would add little cuts.
I'm gonna cut out this one though.
Little cuts. I don't know if there's another shortcut.
Ooh, okay, hold on.
Know if there's another shortcut.
I can see that whole active thing being a bit of an issue. I wonder if I can. Hold on. I'm gonna let's make this inactive, and then I'll just select this. Okay, I want to keep that offset, or don't want to keep the offset. And then I want to try it to see if it will do that again. Okay, no, it keeps that unchecked. Okay, I want to keep it unchecked for now because that's gonna get in the way.
Another shortcut now. I don't know if there's another shortcut now to do that, but it's actually just click and drag now. So click and drag like this, and if I click and drag that box, it's going to cut it out, but it's also going to fill the drag now. So click and drag the box, and if I click that,
oops.
but it's also going to box. It's going to cut it out. Click and drag that. Click and drag, and if I click and drag that box, click and drag that box. It's going to cut it out, but it's also going to fill the gap that you cut. So you can but it's also going to fill the gap that you cut. So you can see this became closer. You can see this cut. So you can see this became closer.
So you can see I'm just cutting out like the ums or the pauses and stuff like that.
Together. It came closer together. Now you can open up your adjustments here.
Just a lot of times I don't know the proper phrasing or the proper words to use. And that's because this is the way my brain is.
You can open up your adjustments here at the
ADD.
box play. This is on by default, but if for some reason it's not on, just make sure you have adjust last operation checked here. Checked here. And then you can checked here, and then you can uncheck remove gaps, and then it will keep that gap. The shortcut to that is I'm not entirely sure what shortcut to that is. I'm not entirely
Okay. Get rid of that.
I'm not entirely sure what soft and hard.
So what you can do is, if you see what I'm doing, is I'm actually, the way I like to work is I select the handles here, and then once I make another cut, then the handles are automatically selected. So if I press G to grab, then I'm automatically selecting those handles. As long as your cursor is on the right side of the playhead, and then it will just keep going this way. So what I'll do is I'll cut, and then I'll snap, and then I'll move, cut, move, snap, move, and then of course I'll come back here and I'll delete those gaps. So that's my workflow.
Soft and hard here means I haven't looked too much into that. Here means I haven't looked too much into that because again I don't use the blade tool much. Because again I don't use the blade tool much. But we can also click ignore selection, which then I think will cut anything. So if we just do this, then will it cut the things that we weren't selected.
So I don't know if I don't know if you can or want to hear
selection, which
me. I think you can. Let me actually just check that. So I don't know if you can or want to hear me. I think you can. I'll bring that up a little bit more. go. Let's just check that.
Also click ignore selection, which then I think will cut anything. So if we just do this, cut the things that we. So I don't exactly know how that works.
Just checking the sound here now. There we go. Let's just check that.
Also click ignore selection, which then I think will cut anything. So if we just do this, cut the things that we. So I don't exactly know how that works.
Just checking the sound here now. Let's just check that.
Also click ignore selection.
Okay, I think it's good. All right, sorry. Checking the sound.
Also
trying to
click ignore
balancing
selection,
it here.
which then I think will cut anything. So if we just do this, then cut the things that we weren't, which then I think will cut anything. So if we just do this, still had that checked. So I don't exactly know how that things that we weren't selected. Click ignore selection, which then I think will cut anything. So I don't use the blade tool much, but we will cut the things that we weren't selecting anything. So if we just do this, then then will it cut the things that we weren't selected. But it still had that checked. So I don't exactly know how that works either. I ignore connections. Okay. You can play around with that, but this is something that you have here where we can keep those. But it still had that checked. So I don't exactly know how that works either. I ignore connections. Okay. You can play around with that, but this is something that you have here where we can. I don't exactly know how that works either. You can play how that works either. You can play around with that, but this is something that you have here where we can keep those gaps or we can remove those gaps. Another way we can keep the gaps, I'm just going to undo those, is holding those. I'm just going to undo those. Holding down shift. Now you have to hold down shift before you start clicking. So hold down shift and then click and drag, and then it'll keep that. If you do it the other way, if you click and drag and then hold down shift, it's not going to listen to that. So, but you can see we can cut it, and you can see those texts, that text getting shorter. It just says cat, because that's what it is.
All right.
Okay, great. So next one will be the meta. Next up is snapping to.
All right. So then I can cut all of this out and just delete that.
Cat.
And then I'm just going to put a little gap there.
Next up,
because I'm going to put a little transition between those eventually.
Next up is snapping to the frame ranges within a metastrip.
Welcome
so
if you're here.
We can
I'm
already
just doing
take
some
these and
just doing some video editing on a late night Saturday night. I have to do video editing anyway, so figured might as well join me if you want. Right now it's kind of boring because I'm just doing the cutting out everything that I don't like, and the pauses and the ums and all of that stuff. And if you rewind just a little bit, you can see I show you what my process is, my little my workflow of cutting. So
next up is snapping to the frame ranges within a metastrip. So we can already take these and snap them to the frame range, so the beginning frame and the end frame, as long as we have snapping enabled and we have frame range here enabled. What we couldn't do.
Okay, so now you can start to see kind of my starting and restarting, and I don't exactly know how to phrase things, so I'll start saying something and I'm like, no, sounds dumb, or I trip over my words. So you can see the waveforms really help with this. So you can see I'm saying the same exact thing here, and you can see the waveforms look identical. So I'll use that as a guide to see where maybe I'm good, and I think it's going to be right here. I think this is the one that I ended up going with, because you don't see the same pauses and the same waveforms. So, but we can check. So
we couldn't norm what we couldn't but what we couldn't but what we couldn't originally but what we couldn't do in previous versions is if we added all of these into a meta strip with
okay. So yeah. So I could just use all those cues to then just go ahead and cut to here, or I have these handles selected, of course, and then I just snap them, move, and clear the gap.
Enabled. But what we couldn't do in previous versions is if we add.
And it depends on how much you don't mind, or how much you mind the cuts. So like obviously this is a very quick cut, but if I try sometimes to smooth the transition out if I need to, but I mean people don't really care.
What we couldn't do in previous versions is if we added all of these into a meta strip with Control G, and then select it, tab into it. See, now we have the frame ranges are different within the meta strip. You can see this is the beginning and this is the end over here. Originally, we wouldn't be able to snap. I'm just going to delete those. Snap to. I'm just going to delete those.
And just personal preference. Sometimes I cut out the uhs. Sometimes I don't.
Snap to these. But now we can. By default, let's move that. So the end and the beginning frames are snapped, as long as snapping is on and as long as frame range is.
So this is, by the way, I'm editing my next tutorial that's coming out next week. I'm going to try to, I think, post it on Monday if I can get it done by then.
Checked.
And that's 5.1 updates. So new features, Blender VSE, that's what this is. So I'm going through all of the features, and this is the first section here, the first feature, and then I'm working on the second one, and on and on. And you can see quite a bit of video here, but I think a lot of that is going to be cut out because a lot of it is just me setting up the next Blender blend file to work with the next. See, I can't think of the words. The next new feature, the next update.
Those snap to these. But now we can. By default, let's move that. So the end and the beginning frames are snapped, as long as snapping is on and as long as frame range is checked. Obviously, if frame range isn't checked, then it won't work. But that's also the same thing. But that's also the same.
So I can see the pattern here. So I know I'm going to cut here.
And it won't work.
And then sometimes I'll cut before I breathe, like right here. Sometimes I'll cut after I breathe, which I'm going to do here, and then I'll just cut after I breathe with the next thing.
But that's also the same thing, just out in the regular scene. So
okay, so right here. So here's the breath. I'm going to cut. And then, actually, yeah, I guess I should have just snapped. I'll do that because that's what I usually do. So snap, that snaps the handle, which essentially is a cut and a delete. And then I move, clear the gap.
Work, but that's also the same thing, just out.
And even though it looks very like abrupt for the cut visually, the sound sounds natural.
Then it won't work, but that's also the same. It won't work, but that's also the same thing, just out in the regular scene. So,
and I could also even adjust this too. So I can maybe bring this way a little bit.
But that's
also, and that smooths it out. So sometimes an L cut or an F cut or a P cut, whatever they call it, is it helps. And you know, of course, when you cut the video and the audio at the same time, you're going to notice it. But if you cut them at different times, yeah, you don't notice as
it
much.
won't work. But that's also the same thing just out in the regular scene.
Smooths it out
So
a lot.
you can't snap to the frame ranges out here unless this is checked. Next one is
Okay, so that's that. That's the end of that one. So you can select. By the way, a lot of times I do this because I've got lots of video going over, you know, past where I'm editing to the right. If I control and right click, you have to do right click select, or you have to be in right click select, which that's the default in Blender now. But it selects everything. So if I click over on this side, it selects everything over on the left side of the playhead. If I click over here, it selects everything on the right side of the playhead, but it won't select anything that the playhead is currently on. So you can see that. So I do that a lot so that I can just clear it. So if I want to make a gap, I select everything and then move it. If I just selected these with a box select and move it, then I'm going to reach a point where it runs into the next videos that are waiting there. So it's just easier. It's just easier that way to just control click, and then it will select everything, and I don't have to worry about running out of room. Okay, select those handles and come over here. When do I start?
Okay, next up is reversing footage with driver, driving control, and okay, so
right here. So you can see there's a lot of video that I'm cutting out, which is good.
Okay, so next up is reversing footage with speed control. I have this video here that I downloaded.
So we're roughly at about 3.5 minutes. Here.
Okay, so next up is reversing footage with speed control. I have this video here that I downloaded from Pixabay, I think. Just of a driver driving really fast. So just select the fast of a driver driving really fast.
All right, cut that out.
So just select the video, Shift A, effect strip, speed control, and then if we go up to our properties panel, go to speed control and change this to multiply, and now we can type in a negative value, which we couldn't before. So -1, then reverses the footage. So now if I play this, he's driving backwards. Now the sound doesn't go backwards, and in fact you can't. This doesn't work with the audio. So speed controls only work with video, so just keep that in mind. Also, another tip is if I get rid of the speed control, if I make any sort of cuts,
okay,
any sort of cuts like this.
Oh, okay. I want to actually see myself making some of these cuts. This is a good opportunity. I'll do a speed control. Talking about speed control, I'll just take this, cut that here, and just select the video. And for that, you have to have your strips disconnected. They come connected by default in Blender now. So just disconnect them so you can select just the video. Control G, you have to put it in a meta strip because it creates a hard stop, a hard beginning and a hard end here, which you need for the speed control to only evaluate this section. If you don't, it's going to evaluate the whole video, and you're going to be like, what's happening? So let's add in effect strip speed control, and then I'm just going to take all of this and we're going to speed it up. And you have to, if you use a speed control, you have to adjust the speed from the end handle or the right handle. You can't do it from the left handle. It'll also cause problems. So make that shorter, clear that gap, and
cuts like this.
There you go. And then, I mean, I could have even like, let's undo that. Okay, let's get rid of the, or let's just get rid of the meta strip here for now. That'll also get rid of the speed control. But basically, you can see I pause here, so I just cut that out. So I select, and then I pause slightly. So I'm going to cut that pause out, and then as my cursor starts to move, my mouse cursor, I'm going to cut that out. So it looks like it's just one continuous movement. And then once I hit that, I'm also going to make a cut because I pause here for a long time instead of moving it. So right before, I'm going to cut it right when I start to move that. And then I might not even need to use a speed control.
Like
because
if
then
I make any sort of cuts,
it's just like continuous
like
motion instead of me pausing all of the time. So either way, it works. But I like that this looks more elegant in my opinion.
Like this, and I just want the speed control to affect this, I have to put it in a meta strip for it to work. It's because you need a hard start and a hard end, and putting it into a meta strip makes that.
Okay, so that is. Let's see.
And putting it into a meta strip makes that.
Putting it into meta strip makes that what?
And putting it into a meta strip.
Think.
And the easiest way to do that is to put it into a meta. If I just put.
Okay, so this is actually where I need that cut.
And putting it into.
And I need to cut it right here.
Hard end. And the easiest way to do that is to put it into a meta strip.
Okay.
Meta strip. If I just put it on here.
This is exactly what my past self is saying in this video is exactly what I just explained. And if you want to know why, just keep watching because he'll explain.
If I just put it on here, speed control. This speed control is going to evaluate the entire video.
Okay. So I'm cutting out entire video, and then now it's just gonna say entire video.
Entire media, not just this little container here. It's going to do the whole thing. And if I just bring it up here just so you can see, and I turn on the offsets, you can see that this video offset includes all of this other video over here in these offsets. You just don't see it because the container is smaller. But if I move the container out, you can see there's more video there. Both going both directions here.
Now I do want to keep my breath in here. So that's, a lot of times if you cut out the breath, it just sounds unnatural. Plus my screen is moving. So I try, if my screen is moving, I try to work around that with the cuts.
So that is why if I, put this, let's get rid of the speed control. If I put just the video into a meta strip, you see there is no more offset. And so, in fact, if I try to move offset, and so, in fact, if I try to move this out, you can see try to move this. So, in fact, if I
haven't actually been
try
saving
to
it,
move this out,
which is bad because it's already Blender's already crashed on me once. So saving often
out, you can see there's nothing over here. Same thing over here. There's nothing over here. There's nothing over here. So you need this hard start and hard end if you just want. So you need this hard. This hard start and hard end here. So you need this hard start. So you. And so we're driving.
Okay, here we go.
here. So you need this hard start and hard end here if you want the speed control to evaluate only that section that you cut. I'm just going to undo this, and we can put this back to cut. So I'm just going to undo this, and then we can put this back over here. And so we're driving forward here, and then this section it'll be driving backwards. So we'll just add in a speed control there, do the same thing, -1, and there we go. So starts going forward and then going backwards. But it's reversing the footage, so it's actually starting from over here. That's why you see this little jump. Because it's not starting right here and then going backwards. It's starting from here and going backwards. It's starting from here, putting that over here. If we wanted over here, if we wanted to make it kind of seamless, like it's like we're going back and forth like this, what we'd have to do is take, let's turn these offsets off. We'd have to take this foot. We'd have to take this footage, duplicate it, footage, take this footage, duplicate it, put it over here, and then meta strip, add in speed control, multiply, and -1. Now it'll be seamless, and then it'll start here, and then it will stop there, and then reverse from that point there. Now this is okay. In this situation, I wouldn't do it this way, and the reason is because you can actually just take the meta strip itself, go down to video and click reverse frames, and it does the same thing. So just refresh that, and I hate this. I turn prefetch frames off. Okay, refresh. Yep. Now the sound, of course, we can actually just maybe pull this sound out so it doesn't cut, because that starts from the beginning. That doesn't reverse, so. Yeah, there you go. Going back. So that's how that works.
All right, so that's the next one done. So that's 3 of them so far, and we're at 7 minutes. So that's, yeah, we'll see how long this video is actually going to be. I was hoping that it was going to be shorter, but I always hope that.
Next up is a slight change to the retiming keys. Now, next up is
next up right here. Here we go. Let's just start from here.
Next up is a slight change to the
save it. Let's save it. Let's do another iteration. Boom.
Timing keys. Now, this is another one that I don't use ever because they confuse me. I just use speed control for retiming stuff. But if you want to use retiming, just make sure you select your strips and go to retiming, strip, retiming, and then you can add a retiming key. You can show retiming keys. So if I just show them, okay, they're here, and there's not really much change. And if I hide them, which is Control R,
hold on, I need to make sure I'm okay. I forgot to turn my automatic scene switcher on, which I don't think up until now it's that big a deal. I don't think my head was covering anything important right now, but I'm glad I remembered, because then I don't know if you know you can do this in OBS Studio, but that if my mouse cursor goes over where my head is, it automatically will disappear. Not my mouse cursor, but my head. Not my real head, of course, but I don't know why I'm explaining that.
Next up is a slight change to the retiming keys.
Okay,
now, this is another one that I don't use ever because they confuse me. I just use speed control for retiming stuff. But if you want to use retiming, just make sure you select your strips and go to retiming, strip, retiming, and then you can add a retiming key. You can show retiming keys. So if I just show them, okay, they're here, and there's not really much change. And if I hide them, which is Control R, um, that you can see it doesn't hide them, and that's because for some reason you have to actually select the key first for it to recognize. Oh, hey, there's actually keys there. I believe also if you add a retiming key, it will recognize it. But you have to key. It will recognize it. But you have to at least select one. And then now that you selected one, see, I'm just going to undo that. There's no icon. This is the new thing. This is the little so once I select undo that, there's no icon. This is the new thing. This is the little update. So once I select one, you can see now we have this. This is a retiming. This is a retiming. Select one. Select one. This is a retiming key icon. And now if I Control R, then it will hide the retiming keys completely, but keep this icon showing us that on this icon, showing us that on these strips there are retiming keys that we've set. Strips there are that on these strips there are retiming retiming keys that we've set. That's just an indication that these strips have retiming keys, and you can hide them completely. Previously, all it would do is just completely.
Okay, cut all this out.
In previous versions, that's doing okay. That add those. And you can hide them completely. In previous versions, here, this is 5.0. If I did Control R to add those there, and then Control R again. Okay, that's doing a different thing now because I haven't selected it. So I think I still have to select one. So select one. Now it registers that I have it, and I Control R. You can see what it did is it didn't completely hide them. You can still see you can see what it did is it didn't completely hide them. You can still see the retiming key and hide them. It didn't completely hide them. You can still see the retiming key and the bar that goes across there. And so that's the difference there. That was the indication that you have retiming keys on there. In 5.1 keys on there. Timing keys on there. In 5.1 now, it's a little cleaner and it's a little bit more apparent that we have a retiming key with the icon.
By the way, if you have any questions, and I'll write this in the chat, if you have any questions about video editing, let me know. I should have said it at the beginning. Whatever. I'm learning. Also, if you have any, like, if you'd like to see some more video editing stuff, like tutorials and stuff, I mean, I am putting together, I'm planning a full kind of video editing series going in, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do that in for 5.1 or if I'm just going to wait until 5.2. I'm going to start to use 5.2 anyway, so I might do that. I might get started on that, but Blender's constantly changing, so I have to just pick a time and do it. I've been planning this forever, but anyway, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I will also write that in the chat. Hello. Oh, let's do this. Greetings. Let me know if you have any video editing questions. I'll answer them as best as I can. Also, if you want to see something specific in my next VSE, my video editing series, let me know. There you go. Okay, back to video editing here.
Icon. Okay, next. So selected strips. Okay, next. So selected strips can now.
All right, next. Good. And then I'm looking at the Blender developer, website that did I show at the beginning? I'm pretty sure I showed it at the beginning. Yeah. So here we go. So it's developer.blender.org. Go to docs and then release notes, and then you can choose actually which one you want. So if you click 5.1 and then go down to video sequencer, you get all this is basically what my tutorials. I'm going based off of each of these bullet points. Not every one, but most of them. And so that's what I'm looking at here to decide what is going to happen next. But I've already prepared. So I've already prepared all of my Blender blend files. Snap. Oh, good night. Just gotta message my family and say good night. Do a little GIF. Yes, I said GIF because that's the proper pronunciation. Let's see. I don't like how Messenger has these tiny things that now when you try to search, it searches for everything. So it searches for GIFs and stickers and all this stuff, and I can't find emojis. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but here we go. Okay. Got the obligatory good night to the family. All right.
Group snapping has also been updated, which this is something that I absolutely love.
Group snapping. I love that too. Yes, I do love that. And I think I've started this. I restarted this several times. So
group snapping has.
Yep.
Group snapping has.
Oh, here. So here I also clap, and you can see the reason I do that is because the waveforms are visual, and I can tell. Oh, I must have cut something here, or if I am doing different sections, then I'll clap between the sections so I know, okay, this is a new section. So there we go. So I know that I'm going to start here, or I think, but it looks like I'm clapping again here. So it saves me a lot of time where I don't have to listen to all of this. So I can just jump to here. And you can see then I have pretty much steady waveforms right now after that. So
group snapping.
Yep. And that is the group snapping. So I'm just going to... What's going on here? Oh, I need to select the handles. Snap. There we go. And then this is the next group. So we've got these. Let's just move this over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th update here. So we're just going to make a little space because I'm going to do the transitions.
Group snapping has now been updated, and this is something I absolutely love. So if I select everything here and then I snap it to the cursor, you can see that it keeps the offsets relative to their positions, and that didn't used to happen. So if I open up the adjustments here, you can see the keep offset. If I uncheck that, this is how it automatically in previous versions would snap everything that you grouped, and there was no way to keep that offset of everything. and there was way to, there was no and there was no and there everything, and there was no way to keep that offset. What you would have to do is put everything in a meta strip, snap it, and then get rid of the meta strip, which is a little bit tedious. This is a lot easier, and then we can choose to keep the offset. Now, this is relative to the active selection. The active selection is the one that has the white outline. All of the other ones have an orange outline that means that they're selected. Orange outline that ones have an orange outline have a ones have orange and other ones have an orange outline that means that they're selected.
I wonder how long between my cuts are between YouTube and my actual live in real life is. Oh, that's pretty long now. It's like almost a minute.
Orange outline that other ones have an orange outline that means that they're selected, but they're not active. So, for example, if I have this one selected, which I can change by holding down Shift and then clicking. So I can click to change the active selection, and that keeps everything still selected. So if I have this one selected as the active selection, then I press S to snap. It will snap relative to that and keep everything relative as well. And this snap side here, I can choose either left or right. So right now it's on the right, so that means it snaps it to where everything is on the right side of the playhead. If I want to snap it, if I want to snap it the other direction, I just choose left, and then it snaps everything to the left of the playhead. So let's see if I wanted to do it here. Just Shift, select this one, S, and of course nothing changes because it is snapping using this one to the left. But if I change that to right, then it will do that one, and so on and so forth. And so forth. And so on and so forth.
Okay.
You can also adjust.
Let's save another iteration here.
Just the frame offset.
How much further? Okay, we're getting there.
Frame offset. So I can say I want to snap it here, but I want to snap it with a 10 frame offset. There you go. You can do frame offset. There you go. You can do that as well. And remember, this is snapping frame offset. And remember, this is snapping to the playhead. So if I press S, it's snapping here. It's not snapping to the frame range.
Okay, that is, I think the
good. That's enough of the timeline.
Okay, good. So the timeline section is done.
Functionality of the preview got updated to where we can now take this and preview and properties. Functionality of the
Okay, we've got another section here.
But if we hold down to where we press R, but if we the functionality of the preview got updated to where we can now take this and press R to rotate, which we could before. But if we hold down Control, now it will rotate in increments, and you can see those increments right up here.
BTW, I am live editing my next tutorial, which is VSE 5.1 updates.
Increments right up here on that rotation at the top. And you can see right here, if I don't hold Control, it's smooth. But then if I hold Control, it snaps to increments to make it easier to line things up together. Same thing is with line things up together. Things up together. Same thing is with the scale. So scale that and then hold and then hold down Control, and it will scale. And it will hold down Control, and it will snap. And it will snap that. And it will snap that scale, which is really nice. So panel was also cleaned up. So, and the properties panel, and which is really nice. And the properties panel was also cleaned up, all renamed. So you can see here, this is 5 panel was also cleaned up. So right here, cleaned up. So right here, so you can see here, this is 5.0 and this is 5.1. So we have channel, start, duration, end, strip, offset, start, end, hold, offset, start, end. And the strip, offset, start, and hold, offset, start, end. The start, end, hold, offset, start, end. The strip, offset, start, and hold, offset, start. It was hard to understand what that actually means. Hold, off, duration, start, end, start. It's just offset, start, end. It was hard to understand what that actually means. Here we go. Here we have actually means. Here we have left handle, which would here we have left handle. Left. Here we have that actually means. Here we have left handle, strip duration, right handle. So we automatically know what we're selecting here and what we're changing. And then the content start and the duration of the content, and the content trim start. So if we come over here, start. If content trim start. If we come over here, let's just get rid of this. Let's just if we come over here, let's just get rid of this. So obviously this will be the left hand. Obviously this will be the left handle. This is the right handle. So if I take this left handle here and move it, move it, move it, move it, move it. It's you can see move it. You can see it's moving the left handle. If I take the right handle, move it, it's moving the right handle. If we turn on those, the strip duration on those, moving the right handle, the right hand also moves the handle. The strip duration also moves the right handle, but it's just basically strip duration. The strip duration also moves the right the handle. So I don't exactly strip duration also moves the right, but you can still see what's happening. And now if we a little bit, probably the strip duration also moves the right handle, but probably a little bit different calculation. I'm not entirely sure, but you can still see what's happening. And now if we turn on those offsets again, you can see that here's the content within the container. So the handle and the strip duration and the right handle are all about the strip container itself, the one that has are all about the strip are all about the right handle are all about the strip container itself, the one that has the handles. But then you have the content, which is the video or the audio inside of it. So now we have save it
and save some iterations.
So now we have content start and content end, and you can see that that moves the content over here, where the starting of the content is going to be different. And that moves the content over here, where the starting of the content is going to be different. And that's essentially just like moving the whole thing. Wherever going to be different. That's essentially just like moving the whole thing. So wherever the content actually starts. So that would be, let's check here. Let's go to this. So that's frame 100. So content start here should say frame 100. Or technically, the content starts after the frame. Let's check here. Let's go to this. So that's frame 100. So content start here should say frame 100.
Okay, I know that I have to cut some of this out because
on that you're on. Of course, I'm not 100. Of course, I'm not probably on the right frame. Yeah, okay, you're right. So here we go, 101. And that's where the content actually starts here. The duration of the content is 403, which would be over here. So yeah, so 5.
So how long have I been live streaming? An hour and 15 minutes. Okay. Why don't we keep going? Let me keep going.
So yeah, so 5.
It might be boring, but some people might like this. Who knows?
Actually starts here.
It's work I have to do, so I might as well live stream it.
Starts here. The duration of the content is 403, which would be.
I might have to take a break here though soon.
So yeah, so 5. So 504.
Okay, I'm going to speed this up here because I don't want to cut it out. So metastrip and speed control and grab the right handle, pull it back.
So 504 minus 101, you get 403. 101, you get minus 101, you get 403. That's how long the content is. The end is 504, obviously there, but I can change that as well. Except for I can't. it's grayed out. And I'm not entirely sure why that's grayed out. Maybe that's just for reference. Maybe it's grayed out. And I'm not entirely sure why that's grayed out. Maybe that's just for reference. Maybe you can't actually change those. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. But now if I wanted to actually trim, let's see, let's do right handle, let's do left handle. Okay. But if I wanted to actually trim the content, so content trim start, you can see this is doing something that I actually think is not very intuitive. Because I would imagine just the intuitive. I would imagine just the offset intuitive. I would imagine just the offsets here to move, like content trim start from the beginning, and then it's also pushing the handle in, which I wouldn't imagine that should do that. I think that, which I wouldn't that should do that. The handle in, handle in. I wouldn't imagine that should. I wouldn't imagine that. But it's also pushing the handle in. I wouldn't imagine that should do that.
Welcome aboard
to
those who are.
So I don't exactly know how to do that, but
just jumping in to watch some video editing and see what my workflow is. And farewell to those who just left.
Exactly how to do that, but the main point is that it know how to do that, but the main point is that it. But the main point is that the properties here. But the main point is that. But the main point.
Well, what is the main point?
Is that the properties panel. Okay. But the main.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that. how to do that.
Cut. Delete.
So I don't exactly know how to do that, but the main point is that the properties panel is now cleaned up a little bit to make it a little bit more clear what these sliders actually do.
Okay.
Oh,
and that's it for the first video that I recorded. Here's the second video. So let's save another iteration here, and we're going to continue. But this is a good place to take a break. I got to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. Break time. BRB. Okay, so let's do. Okay, studio mode. BRB and transition. Here we go. Alrighty, I'm back again. Let's just wait for YouTube to catch up here. Actually, I don't need to, but I do kind of need to just make sure everything is working correctly. But I'll zoom in here, get this ready, and look at, these are the claps that I have.
2, 1.
So that I know where things are, where to cut. Just make sure there's not any more claps in the near vicinity, and then we can start right here for our first cut of this next video. Man, that is a long time. Man, that's like a couple minutes. Again. Okay. Yeah. YouTube is very laggy, or my internet is very laggy, or my OBS, whatever. But anyway, okay, let's do this.
Now let's talk about some of the modifier updates. So,
modifier updates, these are good. Let's see.
Now let's talk about some of the. So again, if you and I now let's talk about some of the modifier updates, and this is a big one: the sequencer strip info node. That
I think when I was recording this, my should probably make sure this is right too. Yeah. So my microphone, if it's not positioned just right, it sounds really muffled and far away, and I didn't realize that until today. So now I can feel where the where the actual microphone receiver is, and yeah. Anyway,
let's talk about some of the modifier updates, and this is a big.
The reason I was saying that is because this audio looks and sounds a little low, so I'm going to have to adjust the volume later on.
The sequence.
Actually, I could probably just do it now. Nah, I'll do it later.
Strip info node. That's this little thing right here, and I just set this up just like they did on the website. On the website. So again, if you go to the developer docs. So again, if you go to developer.blender.org, go to docs and release notes, and then click on this video sequencer, you'll get this, and you can scroll down, and I just did the same thing that they did here with the ellipse mask. So this is their setup, and the way they have this is if we just play this here, you can see that the iris here is opening up, or this ellipse mask is opening up to reveal the video footage here. Reveal the
cut that space out.
The video footage here. So let's see without this video footage here. Let's see without this. So let's just unplug this. You can see the size. We can control the size of this ellipse right here, and we could keyframes right here.
So right now, again, if you're just climbing on board, I'm cutting out all of this stuff from what I don't want in the tutorial. I recorded this in sections, and then I'm just cutting out the different sections. I'm cutting out my not all of them, but a lot of them, and the pauses, because before I go to say something, I pause because I don't always know how to phrase things like I'm struggling with right now, which is why live streams are a little bit tricky for me still. But anyway, so that's all I'm doing, and as I said at the beginning, the way I do it is I select the handles, and then I go to wherever I want to cut. Make a cut, and I make sure that my mouse cursor is on the right side of the playhead. If it's on the left side when I cut, then these are going to be selected. So I have to hover over here, press cut, and I'm using my own hotkeys too, by the way, so that's why you don't see screencast keys. But then I move this because these handles are still selected. So all I have to do is move the playhead, and then snap those handles, and then clear that gap. So that is all. So it's basically cut, move, snap, move, clear. Move, cut, move, snap, move, clear. That's my entire cutting workflow. I'm gonna undo all of that here on certain frames. So for example, let's undo that. I could go back to the beginning, set a keyframe here, and then to the end. And just make sure, okay, here, and then okay, that's okay, I guess. I don't know why did I pull that down? I don't know why I did that. Must have been an accident. Here, just so you can hear me better. Hear me over me. Okay, so, and then to the end, and to the end, and then open it up, and open it up, and set a keyframe here, and set a keyframe here. And that would have the same effect, or a similar effect, like this. But the problem with that is, if I decide to cut this or shorten it, then it's only going to go halfway, because, well, we haven't reached the frame. Ooh, I got it. Looks like a German comment here. Blindcirk. Can I say that? Can I say that in a German accent? Blindcirk. Ich mag deinen YouTube channel. I don't know actually what that means. I know ich is I. Can I translate this? I can usually translate it, but it's not letting me translate it right now. Did I just miss it? Hold on. Should I put the user in timeout? You are in timeout because you spoke German. No. My girlfriend is German, so I'm just gonna look this up. Oh, okay, we can do that here. Let's do translate. It's probably gonna be bad. To English. I like your YouTube channel. Okay, good. Well, Blindcirk. Oh, okay. Okay, look. I love your YouTube channel. There we go. Well, isn't that Liebe? Isn't that Ich liebe deinen? Oh, so hold on. I think I could say Ich liebe deinen YouTube channel. I don't know. My accent is very bad. But I want to learn German fluently. My girlfriend she speaks fluent English. It's awesome. But I also feel bad because I've never learned German, and we've been together for a while, so I feel like it's probably my turn to start learning some German. But thanks for the comment, Blindcirk, and thanks for watching. Also, question for you, Blindcirk: Do you do video editing in Blender? Because that's what we're doing, obviously. But because, well, we haven't reached. But I'm curious. I like to hear other people and what kind of, how do they do their video editing stuff over here yet. So that's where this comes in. But the problem with that is, if I decide to cut this or shorten it, then it's only something else I am just taking for granted that you guys might know is the way that I zoom in. You can see I'm doing this a lot, like really quickly. I'm just holding down Control and middle mouse. So Control, middle mouse, and click. If I drag up, it will scale it up or down like this. Or if I go left and right, it will scale it that way. So you can actually do really dynamic stuff here like this. So you'll see me doing this, and then middle mouse and click is drag, just panning the view around. So that's all I'm doing. So that's where you see me kind of, scurrying through the timeline there. Then it's only going to go halfway because, well, we haven't reached the frame over here yet. So that's where this comes in. That's where this comes in. We can now read the start and end frame of any strip, plug it in here. This would be the time curve, and into the size. Now, again, I don't exactly know how all of this works. I'm actually going to go ahead and, before that, let's just clear keyframes. Let's just also, Blindsark, are you in Germany right now? Because isn't it? Let's see, it's almost 7 o'clock in the morning there. It's not yet. It's like what, 6:40. So either you're up early, or you're in another part of the world. Clear keyframes. I don't want any keyframes on them. And then we can plug that into the size. And now the start frame and end frame determine where the size. So now this, and then we can plug that into the size. And now the start. Okay, I'm going to teach you something too. This is a little trick. Yes, I only use Blender for. Sorry. Okay. First, Blindsark. I only use Blender for video editing. It's more than enough for most people. Yeah. I started. Well, I didn't start using Blender as a video editor, but when I needed a video editor, I used Blender first. I did try a couple of other things, but it wasn't good. And then I was like, oh, Blender. I'm familiar with the Blender interface from modeling and stuff, and VFX. So I started using it as a video editor, and I thought it was pretty intuitive. And oh man, you know what? I haven't watched Blender today with Pablo Vasquez just came out. The title was Blender Got Some Love. I still haven't listened to that yet. I should have, because I need to keep up on that, because I'm excited. I'm just excited they haven't gotten rid of it. It seems like it's here to stay. It seems like it's a staple. So yes, I love that. Okay, here's a tip. This is a pro tip, by the way. So this is for all the people who have watched this far into the video. They get a little sneak peek, a little kind of audio magic here. So the way that I cut things, if I repeat myself, because I'll say something, and if I mess up or if I want to say it differently, I'll say it again, and so I'll say it maybe 2 or 3 times. You don't always have to start at the very beginning, and so this is, I'll show you what I mean. So here, let me pull this up here. The sound for clear keyframe. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me pull it all the way up, because it's kind of quiet, and maybe I'll even make this 1.5 frames. I don't want any keyframes on that. And then we can plug that into the size. And now the start frame and end frame determine where the size. So I stop here. So now the start frame and the end frame determines what the size it is. So and then I say it again. So the problem is, though, so I start here. So now the start frame and so now the start frame, and then plug that into the size. And now, and I say and now, plus the and now is kind of mixed with what I'm already saying before that. So the size and now, the size and now. So there's not really a break to start at the very beginning. But if you want to cut something that you say again, and you don't have a good beginning to start with, focus on consonants. And the best consonant is S. You can do any consonants, so S or K or P. Just make sure it's not a vowel. You're not it's not a vowel or it's not aspirated. Meaning, well, I guess f is aspirated. No, that's fine. Just make sure it's not a vowel. So you're not using your vocal cords. Is what I mean. So what I can do instead of starting here, and now the start I can start at the start. Kind of ironically or coincidentally. So once I start making that s sound, I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to go to where I start with the start. So now the start. So right. So not here, but where I say start. Okay, right here. So I'm going to cut that, get rid of that. Now the start frame and so it's almost there. It's almost there. I maybe take this back one frame. The start frame and the start frame and now the start frame. Okay, I need to actually go further. I think start frame. Yeah. The start frame. Okay, yeah. So there we go. So just listen to the audio now. Now the start frame and the end frame. Now the start frame and the end frame. So I'm actually combining the s from the first start and the s from the second start together, and it's all seamless. At least the audio. Obviously the video cuts, but I'm not too concerned with that. So there's your pro tip. Find the consonants if you can't replace the entire video. If you're saying the same word, then find the consonants. I could also do at the end. So start frame. That cuts. So I could also do it that way. But I'm going to keep it here. Okay, no more comments there, but there you go. Pro tip for those who are interested. All right, let's continue. We've got a ways to go. I don't know how long I'm actually going to be live streaming tonight. I don't even know how long I've been live streaming. Okay, almost 2 hours. The start frame and the end frame determines what. This does have a little click. Start frame. Okay, and I might change that. Start frame. And that just might be just Blender. Start frame and. Okay, that's better. Size. And now the start frame and the end frame much better determines what the size it is. So if I go to the beginning, go to the beginning, it's the smallest, and at the end, it's. Let's save this again. It's the largest, but let's just say we. By the way, Blindsirk, thank you again for commenting, and thank you for joining me. It's the smallest, and at the end, it's the largest. But let's. Oh, and you have another question. Okay, is there a way to link Blender compositing to the video editor instead of opening an image editor to view it like DaVinci Resolve? Well, I'm assuming you mean so in Blender 5, one of the biggest things in Blender 5 is the fact that you can use the compositor in the video sequence editor with the new compositor modifier. So you can put on a video, you can add a compositor modifier, and then you create new, and then you can use the compositor to create nodes that then affect what the output is in the video sequence editor preview. But if you're talking about in the compositor, can you use what's in the video sequence editor in the compositor? No, I don't think so. So it goes one way. It goes from the compositor. The flow is from the compositor to the VSE, but there is no flow from the VSE to the compositor. If that makes sense. There's no output. There's no VSE output, except for, which is also in this video. Maybe I can actually go. Oh, actually, it's what I'm editing right now. So let's change this to the 100%. Let's go here. So this sequencer strip is now in the compositor. It's actually pulling information from the sequencer, but it's not pulling the information from the preview, which is what I would love. Like, actually, a lot of people would love this. So pulling information from the preview, like whatever you see in the preview in the sequencer, or in the video sequencer preview, pulling that into the compositor and then being able to adjust it there. That's not how you do it. Basically, you add a modifier, a compositor modifier, onto the strip, and then from there you can then tweak things like you would in geometry nodes, and then the output goes back into the video sequence editor, if that makes sense. And that's just new in Blender 5. Yeah, no, it's not just your poor English, and I don't think your English is poor. I can understand you. What I'm saying is that it's just the Blender is confusing. There are things in Blender that are separate that shouldn't be separate, in my opinion. But I think they have problems with redundancy. Like, you don't want a loop, you know, like what is it called? Like a dependency loop. So if the VSE is dependent on this and this is dependent on the VSE at the same time, and they go back and forth. But I've always felt like like if you're talking about VFX, like the motion tracking, what is it? It's the movie clip editor. The movie clip editor is completely separate. It doesn't matter how many videos you upload in the VSE. It doesn't matter how many images or whatever you upload in all of Blender. It doesn't recognize it in the movie clip editor. In the movie clip editor, you have to re-upload it, and anything that the well, I guess that doesn't really render anything, does it? But thankfully the compositor is now Dankeschön. Yes. Oh gosh, what's the? How do you say the? You're welcome. I can say you're welcome in Portuguese and Korean, but that's not going to help. Yeah. Remind me, what is you're welcome in German? I don't know. But anyway, going back to like before this update, with the compositor modifier, what you had to do is you did all your editing in the video sequence editor, and then you would have to render out a whole video, and then you have to upload that into the compositor. Well, now you don't have to. Now you can just add a compositor modifier, and you click New here, and then you open up a compositor workspace, and then go to sequencer, and then you have your input. So this is the group input, and this is the group output. And just as a demonstration here, this is the video that I'm working on. We can add in. They've got new nodes now, new creative nodes. So let's just make it sepia. So put a sepia there, and now you can see it goes in here, it adjusts it, and it goes into the output, just like in geometry nodes, and it outputs back into the VSE. Bitte, that's right, bitte, yeah, bitte schön, schön, bitte schön. I'm still working on I got a long way to go. Your English is way better than my German. Trust me. So anyway, so I hope that helps. So there is a connection, but the connection only goes from the compositor to the VSE. There's no VSE, and not yet. There's no VSE node that you can plug into the compositor, aside from the strip information. So strip sequencer strip info. And it shows the start frame, end frame, location, rotation, and scale. So all of that, anyway, just going to get rid of that because I don't need that right now. So, yeah, you're welcome. And again, thank you for the questions. I enjoy the engagement, asking questions. And also, again, I'm going to create a video editing series for the updated Blender soon. So if you have anything specific that you would like in there, I can put that in there. This obviously is going to go in there. It's such a great update. Plus, when 5.2 comes out with the compositor, they're going to make like they're trying to integrate it more with scene transitions and things like that, and effects. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome. I got to start on that video editing series. So welcome to all those who have come. I'm going to start editing again. Just got done with explaining a little bit. If you missed the pro tip, there was a pro tip I just talked about audio and syncing audio. Not syncing, but like when you do your cuts and slicing them together so they sound seamless. So go check that out just maybe 15-20 minutes ago. If I go to the beginning, it's the smallest, and at the end, it's the largest. But let's just say we shorten it to there. Well, let's refresh. And now refresh. And I was like, why is this going so slow? Because I still have it at 100%. And there we go. Now it'll be the shortest. It'll be the shortest here. And now the ellipse will be the and now the ellipse and now the ellipse will be the smallest here and the largest here. So if it's shorter, it'll be faster. And we can even make that shorter. Or if it's longer, it'll be slower. And we don't have to add any keyframes. It is procedural, it is dynamic, and that is the benefit procedural, it is dynamic, and it is dynamic, and that is the benefit. Oh, I realized now that I just have this audio all the way up. I'm just going to pull it down just a little bit so it's different than mine. And we are at almost 2 hours, but that's okay. Of this sequencer strip info node. And of course, this is reliant upon the compositor modifier. So this has the compositor modifier on it. And this compositor modifier is what this is here. So you see we're in sequencer, in the compositor, and the sequencer compositor nodes. We can actually just rename this ellipse if we wanted to. Is that how you spell ellipse? Is that how you spell ellipse? No. Right here. I don't know how to spell ellipse. Is that how you spell ellipse? No. Where is it? No. Ellipse? No. Right here. 2 L's. Is that how you spell ellipse? No. Right here. 2 L's. Okay. Right here. No, it's just that German is difficult, but you read it fluently. That's amazing. No, you're too kind. I don't read it very well. I feel like, okay, the German umlauts are difficult for me, but I remember, yes, good. Well, yes, and I need to get on that the series. You said you're eagerly waiting for the series. Yes, I'm. It's gonna come eventually. Hopefully sooner than later. I do need to start it fairly soon, but no promises on when that's gonna start. But as far as the German, the umlaut, I remember my girlfriend telling me it's like or somebody, I can't remember, it's a German told me it's like you 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 like the EO, you make your mouth like an E on the on like an E as a normal E in English, and then you make your lips like an O, but you don't change the rest of your mouth. So it's like E E E. That's really difficult for. I can do it when I do it in those steps, but I can't do it just dynamically like she like E she sheen bitte sheen, you know. So I just have to I just don't practice, and I need to be consistent at that. But that's not the only thing I need to be consistent at. I need to be consistent at uploading more videos. So there we go. So we have speaking our ellipse compositor nodes, which control this, and you can see the group input is over here. So if I just plug this straight into this, that's just the strip itself. So the strip itself is plugged into the bottom of this mix node here. And again, I don't know how all of this works or why. I'm just copying what they did on the developer page. But you can see the usefulness of this, not just the start frame and end frame, but we've got location. It sounds like someone swallowed a rock. Yeah. Well, yeah, German, I would say most of it sounds like that. I mean, to me, to my ears. But it does sound, it sounds very harsh. Location, but I'm sure you know that. Rotation and scale as well. You know, but you say German is difficult, but I would submit that English is more difficult to non-native speakers, because English has like no pattern. I mean, that we have slight patterns for things, but there's all these exceptions, and you always break the rules. And English is like a hodgepodge of languages, all mixed together. So yeah, I'm right. So I'm reading your comments, and again, I don't know how the YouTube stream is very slow. So when I say something, it's like 1 or 2 minutes later that it finally gets to YouTube. So just keep that in mind. But the difficulty, I think all languages are difficult, but they're all the same difficulty, in my opinion. I mean, they're not all the same difficulty necessarily, but what I'm saying is I believe you learn English the same, or you learn languages the same way, mostly. And actually, before I started Blender Frenzy, I had a website. My first website that I started was language learning. It's about language learning. In fact, I was learning languages. I was learning languages, and I was filming it. And the reason I'm using Blender as a video editor now is because I was editing the videos of my language learning videos. That's how I started in using Blender as a video editor. But then the language learning and all of that stuff came. I was doing too many things at the same time. I was trying to create a website at the same time. I was trying to edit videos at the same time. I was trying to learn how to use Blender at the same time. I was learning how to learn languages at the same time. It was just too much. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I was like, you know what? I need to just do something that I know. And by that time, I had edited enough video in Blender that I started learning how to edit video using Blender. And I'm like, I can do this. I can teach other people how to do this. So that's where I am. So the two real hobbies of mine, love hobbies of mine, are language learning and Blender. So there you go. And scale as well. And let's see here. Okay, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Speaking of German and my girlfriend, good morning. Because it is morning in Germany. Okay.
As well.
Let's get back to editing.
There's this opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for creativity. Okay, let's next.
All right, so that's that section. Let's go to the next section here.
So now let's talk about the mask modifier and everything. So So now let's talk about the mask modifier. So here I have just a regular mask. If I just isolate that, you can see it's black text with a white
Guten
background.
Morgen. That's right. Moin.
All of the black areas are going to be transparent, showing
Moin.
through down.
Are you in the north or the south?
The video, which is here. Now, showing through down to the video, which is here. So all of where the black text is, which is here. All of where the black text is, that's where you see the video. And the black and everything out here is black. The video. And everything out here is black because it's the color that is taking this mask. So it's the color on which it's mask. So it's the color that has the, and then this mask. So it's the color that has the mask modifier, and then I've chosen strip and to use the mask that I named mask as the strip. This text here.
North, good. So then you're familiar with the same dialect that my girlfriend is.
Here.
Moin, tschüss. I was in Germany last August. Went to a couple places. Went to Hamburger, not hamburger. Obviously, that's where the hamburger is from. But I went to Hamburg. Was beautiful. That's the second time I'd been to Hamburg, actually. She doesn't live in Hamburg, but we visited there. We went on a boat tour of the harbor, or is it we call it the harbor? The industrial like ships and stuff. That was cool.
Text here. Mask that I named mask as the strip. This text here. This text here. Now it is a JPEG. You can use text for this, but you'd have to put it in a metastrip. Anyway, I just wanted to have just a regular picture. So this is just a regular JPEG.
I don't know if I want to keep that in there.
Mask as the strip. This text here. I just wanted to have just a regular picture. So this is just a regular JPEG.
I'm just gonna cut all of that
here. So this is just a regular JPEG that I.
Sometimes it's just judgment calls. Sometimes I over-explain things. And sometimes I explain things that aren't really relevant. So I just try to cut those out.
Rendered out.
I'm sure other people probably tell me I need to cut out more, but
JPEG that I rendered out. Just a still image. So still image. So with the color mask as the strip, this text here. So this is just a regular JPEG that I rendered out. Just a still image. I rendered out just a still image. So with the color, if I hide the mask, then it's just a black color, and I can change this color to be any color that I want. And then turn that mask back on, and you can see that's what that. And you can see back on, and you can see just like that. And you can see. And then turn that mask back on, and you can see just like that. Just like that. So what's the update? Well, the update is you couldn't. So what's the update? Well, the update is you couldn't find in this list. So what's just like that. So what's the update? Well, the update is.
Yeah, I was hoping that I would be able to get through. I mean, I am going to try to get through all of the cutting today, but I was hoping I would get through more than just the cutting so that I can show you my the other processes of just other than just cutting. But I'm it's getting really late. So
You couldn't find in this
I
list
might end this
any
soon
master.
and just keep working on it today and tomorrow. I'm trying to get this video out on Monday. So anyway, I basically everything that I've shown you already is what I'm going to do for the rest of the thing. I don't think there's really a lot of use in just keeping on this live stream for longer than it's been 2 hours, just over 2 hours. So I'm just going to say good night. We only have 2 viewers now anyway, so of course, and also for Blinzer, I'm thank you so much for gute Nacht. Yes, thank you. Gute Nacht. Guten Morgen, gute Nacht, moin, tschüss. And it's been fun. So schlaf schön. Sleep well. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. And you have a good day as well. This is the start of your day, so if you're in Germany. So have a good day. And for everyone who's in all other parts of the world and are not German or not in Germany, I hope you also have a good day or night and sleep well. And I'm gonna try to schedule another live stream, but in advance. And we're gonna talk about some of the 5.2 updates that are coming. But until then, you're gonna see me in the next one. So have a good time until then. All right, take care.